What was it like to come home to that?
You know, I didn't expect that. Like for Albuquerque, they've always been so supportive that I can't say I was like shocked by it, because that's just that's how awesome, you know, they are and how supportive they are. But no, I never expected something like that. It was crazy, you know. It was just a lot of love, and it was one of those overwhelming feelings. Like I don't know if I have enough of me to give back. You know, these people are being so so supportive. It was just kind of an overflow of emotions for sure.
Have things changed? I mean, are you able to like leave and go do groceries without having you, you know,
I
be
choose
stopped or
to.
anything like that?
I have to say there's a lot of like little distractions throughout my day. You know, when you think that it's just going to be run in and grab some coconut milk real quick, it takes a little longer. But I choose to still do the things that I want to do. I don't want to do this like, you know, just like hide out in my house, because then it's like, what does that mean that I think I am? Like I'm too, you know. This is just too much for me. You know, I'm too good for that. That's just kind of a weird mentality, I think. So, yeah, I still do my own stuff. You know, I still go to different places, and you know, I still try to keep the best normal schedule that I've always had.
Still in real estate?
I have not been active with it, but yeah,
Yeah.
and actually, I was just thinking, man, I keep thinking when things slow down a little bit, I need to do some of my continuing education, because every 3 years you have to have 30 hours, and I keep thinking that's going to happen.
Right.
So I'm probably going to be doing the crash course like in 1 week, like, oh my gosh, I need to do like 20 more hours right now before my license has to be renewed.
Right. How do you feel about this matchup with Miesha? A lot of people think that she actually could be tougher than Ronda.
She presents a whole different game than Ronda, and she's really unpredictable. She's really good in scrambles. She's really good, you know, she's been through a lot of battles, and she's been behind in fights and come back. She's not one of those that you can mentally break in a fight, and to me, I think that's the toughest opponent you can be up against. And I feel like she's different style, and obviously we all know different styles make different fights. So I feel like this is definitely a really tough fight for me. But what else am I supposed to be doing here? You know, I want to fight all the girls that are the best, because that's what makes the best victory. And obviously, this is a really big challenge for me to take. And a lot of people think it was even silly. Oh, you should have waited for a rematch, or you know. But for me, I think, well, my mentality and my thought was, well, if there's going to be a rematch soon, and we know it's going to happen, okay. But if not, let's have another fight, because that's what I love to do. I want to be competitive, I want to fight, and a lot of people see this as a whole different challenge and almost maybe a risk. But I mean, the whole reason why I'm sitting here right now is because I took advantage of the opportunity that was before me, when a lot of people thought it was too soon for me to fight Ronda. And so I'm just going to keep the same mentality that I've always had, is just make the best of each opportunity and let the cards unfold. Train hard for it and be ready for it, but I mean, that's what I'm in this for, is the fight game. And I've always said passion first, everything else falls into place. I don't know how many times I've said that. That's probably like my main thought process for me. And so that's what I'm going to do, is stick to the passion. My passion is fighting, and then, you know, we'll go from there.
Certainly people were saying, well, you could be missing out on an even bigger payday if you just sat around and waited for Ronda. But you just mentioned it being risky to fight Miesha. I mean, that was the whole point, is you just would much prefer to stay busy instead of wait for the big payday?
I told myself I'd never fight for money or for fame. I would fight for passion. This is the next opportunity. This is the one I'm going to make the most. I don't want to think, well, I need to wait. You know, I don't want to plan it out. My mind doesn't even function this way. Like, if I wait for this, it'll be more money. That's just not how my brain functions. There's never a dollar sign in my mind when I'm thinking about a victory. There's never a dollar sign in my mind when I'm thinking about, you know, my fighting career, because I want to do it for passion. When you start fighting, you start amateurs, you don't get paid anything. You're paying money out, because you're having to pay for your way to get to the fight. You're having to pay for your own hotel. You're having to pay for your own gas. You're having to put miles on your own car. So you're putting money out in the beginning. And I try and keep that same passion that I had in the beginning. You know, I had just the want for victory, and that's it. That's the only thing on my mind, is to win.
How differently did you have to train preparing for Miesha Tate?
every fighter's so different, and this is a completely different fight than Ronda. I mean, their backgrounds, one's, you know, obviously judo is a long, you know, background there, but that's not the only thing that Ronda is good at in fighting. Miesha's background is mainly from wrestling, but that does not mean that's the only thing she's good at. Are there two different fighters? Absolutely, but they're both, you know, pretty well rounded in a lot of ways, and so I'm training for a lot of things. And I was just saying earlier that in order to train for these fights, I feel like I want to obviously train to counter what they're great at, but I also want to do things that make me excel. For my last fight, we kept saying, you know, like, everybody asks, are you practicing your armbar defense? I mean, that's kind of, to me, that's like a silly question, obviously. Obviously, you know, and to counter her judo, obviously we're training that. But I don't want to just defend arm bars and defend, you know, hip tosses and defend off the cage, because when you're just defending, that's not necessarily getting a victory. You know, I want to be able to defend those, but yes, I want to be able to excel in the things that I do, because that's what gets a victory. If I'm just on the defense the whole time, that means she's on the offense, that means she's going to win the fight. I'm not going to do that. I want to be prepared for all of it. And same thing, mentality-wise, for this fight with Miesha. I don't want to just worry about, oh, you know, she might try and, you know, run a double leg on me. It's like, well, okay, yeah, obviously she's probably going to try something like that, but there's things that I want to do to excel, and there's things that I need to practice defending. So it's always a chess match, offense and defense, 100% all the time.
So you mentioned that money's not a motivation, but just winning. Now that you've won and you're the champion, is your legacy now part of that motivation?
Right, I don't want to be a one-hit wonder, I guess, is probably the biggest thing I've been saying about that. You know, I don't want it to be this just one performance. I want to show people that I'm here for a reason, and for me, I want to keep going, I want to keep getting better, I want to keep learning. I don't want to, trust me, the last fight was one of the best moments of my life, but I don't want my whole career to be defined by one fight. I don't want my whole, you know, life to be focused on that. I have things, there's a fight ahead of me now. I don't even feel like I have the belt. I feel like I'm still, you know, going in to prove something and fight for it, because I want to stay hungry.
Do you feel